Welcome to the 9th annual South Florida Book Festival presented by the African American Research Library and Cultural Center. I'm Randolph Dukes, your mixologist and host today for the Flip and Sip. Whether you enjoy having a cup of coffee or tea or even some lemonade while going over the latest bestseller, a drink usually accompanies a good book. Today, we're going to present to you two really nice drinks that are full of Black history and great tasting spirits. So we have the Flip and Sip cocktail, which is created using the Uncle Nearest 1856 whiskey, which is an American legacy in whiskey. If you just do a little research on Nathan Nearest Green, you'll learn a little bit about his whiskey and what he did to contribute to the American whiskey industry. But with that said, I'd like to tell you about the Flip and Sip. So the Flip and Sip today is a slight little modification on a cocktail that originated in 1850. It uses a lot of the same ingredients. The original cocktail was made with cognac, and because Uncle Nearest's whiskey has some of the similar taste profiles, we've modified that to create what we call today the Flip and Sip. So the ingredients that we have for today are orange bitters, we got a little orange zest, we have some simple syrup, and we have some absinthe. So orange zest is just simply doing some orange peels. So you can either do that with a knife, or you can actually, if you go to a couple of gourmet places, buy it already made, or you can actually get yourself an actual zester. Yes, there's a tool where you can zest oranges, lemons, limes, whatever you might need to zest. And keep in mind that in this recipe, we're talking about strips of the peel, not like the gradient pieces. Now, the Angostura orange bitters. Now, this orange bitters is one of the more common brands that are out there. You can find that just about everywhere. It's a great brand to go to, but you can try any brand at all. And there's even some DIY options on the internet that you can look up to make your own orange bitters. Simple syrup. The simple syrup I always make myself. You can buy this in the stores. You can buy it anywhere. Everybody sells it, even grocery stores sell it. But I like to make it myself. Simple syrup is easy to make. It's equal parts water and white sugar. So you do 1 cup of water, 1 cup of white sugar, stir it in a pot over the stove, slowly warm it up so it dissolves, and you create your own basic sugar water. Absinthe. Absinthe is a very interesting item that was originally part of the recipe. It's green in color. There are a lot of different options when it comes to absinthe. You can get an entry-level brand, much like we have here, or if you'd like, you can opt for something a little more premium. I can tell you the premium bottles are probably around $50 or more. Something like this will probably cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of $20, but this will work just fine. Uncle Nearest 1856 Premium Whiskey. This is the superstar of our cocktail. This whiskey is my go-to whiskey. I'm more of a cognac connoisseur. This is the only whiskey that I'll drink regularly. Their maple charcoal filtration system gives it kind of a similar taste profile of a cocktail, but it is 100 proof and it is distilled in oak barrels that are charred. So you definitely get a whiskey taste. It is definitely a whiskey, but it is one of the smooth, better whiskeys you'll be able to get. And it just makes our cocktail fantastic. So what we do is we start with the absinthe and we do what we call washing the glass. We just put a couple of sprays right into the glass and set that aside. And then we go for the best part, the ingredients. So we need about 2 ounces of our wonderful whiskey. That's a little bit of a heavy pour, but that's okay. And then we need 1 ounce of our simple syrup. Let me pour that right in there. into the ingredients. Now you can always add a little more simple syrup if you want your drink to be a little bit sweeter. That's entirely up to you. And then we do about 5 dashes of our orange bitters. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm gonna put a little extra there for a little extra flavor. Now with that, we just come to our glass, our mixing glass. We give it a little stir for a little bit, let some of that water melt in there, let that kind of ease it out. You can hear those ice cubes clinking around. And then after that's nice and done, you make sure you secure you a nice orange zest. And again, you can let that sit a little bit longer if you like, let a little more water get in there or not. Of course, more water will cut down on the liquor, but like me, you might want to get right to the liquor. So then you strain that right on off with a typical bar strainer. And you have your little orange zest. You twist that over it a little bit, get a little bit of that essence in there, and then you want to drop that in there. And then you have your flip and sip ready for a good book. Now for this year's South Florida Book Festival, I would not be a good mixologist if I did not recommend a good cocktail book. And this year I am recommending the Holy Spirit's Charleston Culture Through Cocktails. This is a great coffee table book. It's also a good reading book. You can definitely do some flipping and some sipping with this book. It has explanations. It breaks down bitters and liqueurs and all of these different things. So it's educational as well. This book I selected because it also has a recipe that I like called The Lady in Red. Along with very good pictorials of the different cocktails, this particular drink is a simple drink, 4 ingredients, and it's made with gin. And gin was always my granddaddy's favorite spirit. So in honor of him, I'm recommending Holy Spirit's Charleston Culture Through Cocktails. You can get this book at the African American Research Library and Cultural Center. The Nearest Limerick is an original drink recipe that was created specifically for this event. This is a really refreshing drink. It's great. You can have it anywhere, and you can definitely have it while enjoying a good book. So it is, of course, the superstar of our drink today will be the Uncle Nearest 1856 Premium Whiskey. We also have some Saint Germain, which is a French liqueur, some ginger ale, and then a little bit of lime juice. We're going to squeeze a wedge of lime juice and drop in a little garnish. Now, when it comes to lime wedges, I prefer to cut my lime wedges into eighths. That means basically cut it into 4 pieces and then cut those 4 pieces, each one of those 4 pieces in half. I like eighths because that gives you just the right amount of juice for your cocktail, as well as an eighth of a lime is a great garnish. Ginger ale is great in this cocktail. It gives it a little bit of a lighter, kind of a sweeter taste. If you want something that kind of kicks it up a little bit, makes it a little bit more bitter, you want to get rid of the sweetness, then you could use ginger beer. But you definitely want to go with something that has ginger in it. So whether a ginger ale or a ginger beer is really going to make this cocktail wonderful. Saint Germain is the complementary liqueur that is in this cocktail. Now, this is an elderflower liqueur made in France. Now, there are other brands out there that you can buy, slightly cheaper brands, but Saint Germain is what you want to go with. This will give it a nice, it smooths out the flavor and complements the whiskey perfectly. Uncle Nearest 1856 Premium Whiskey. Now, Uncle Nearest sells several different versions of their whiskey. There's the 1884, as well as there's some small batch options that typically sell out really fast. For me, the 1856 Premium Whiskey is the way to go. I'm a cognac fan, and this has some of the same taste profiles as a cognac. They use a very exclusive or unique to them maple charcoal filtration system that smooths it out. It's one of the smoother whiskeys that you're gonna find out there on the market, as well as it's 100 proof, and it is aged in charred oak barrels, so it is definitely a whiskey and it will definitely have a kick. So it's a pretty straightforward drink. What we do is we're gonna start with filling up our shaker with some ice. So we'll put ice in our shaker so we can chill our ingredients. And then we do what I like to say is 2 parts of our Uncle Nearest. So that's 2 ounces in this case. So we do 2 parts. Nice pour. And then we do 1 part, 1 full ounce of our St. Germain liqueur. Now, if you want to get, make it maybe a little bit sweeter, you can do a 1/2 ounce extra, a little something more. Put that in there. And then as the ingredients are starting to chill, you kind of get those in there, shake them up a little bit. You want to make sure that the shaker gets nice and cold and chilled to the touch. And then we put some ice in a nice tall glass. We pour off our mixture. We've done this right. We're going to have about a 1/2 glass, maybe a little bit more. And then we top with the ginger ale. We bring that right on up to the top. Get us a nice fizz going. A little bit of lime juice. And then you can drop the lime in there, or you can go with a fresh garnish. If you want to be fancy like I am, I go with a fresh garnish. And that's our Nearest Limerick.
We hope you're enjoying the Flip and Sip Lounge, and we also hope that you're inspired to go out, purchase a bottle, and support Uncle Nearest whiskey brand, and make your own Flip and Sip cocktail. But up next, we have a live cooking demonstration with our Eat, Drink, Read segment with Temple Street Eatery chef Alex Kook making a wonderful noodle dish. So cheers and have a wonderful South Florida Book Festival.